Welcome back here to the Mountain Morning Show. We're getting you all ready for this weekend, and including with that comes the Park City Sunday Market, which is obviously one of the great things happening all summer long here in Park City. We have a little bit of a taste of what's going to be happening there, and I mean that with a pun intended there. Scott Davis, head of sales of Moab Brewery. How are you doing, Scott?
Doing great.
You guys have been a longtime sponsor of Park City Sunday Market. You said countless. You can't even really remember when you guys started, which is not a bad thing. Obviously, you guys have been a part of it for such a long time.
We have, and it's such a great thing for the community. So that's why we've always wanted to sponsor it and get our beers out there in the hands of the thirsty Park Cityites.
Yeah, well, lucky for us, we get Moab Brewing to be there because you guys really make some fantastic beers. Let's talk about anything new that's happening with Park City Sunday Market this coming week, or what's happening this summer. Any new changes?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few different weekends for the Park City Market that they can only serve beer. So this weekend is one of those. So they pick up a few extra different styles of beer just since they won't be serving their normal cocktails. So one of those is our brand new summer seasonal.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Which is our Moab Especial.
Okay, all right. Obviously inspired by some south of the border beers there.
Yeah, absolutely. So our desert life down there in Moab. So it's our filtered wheat beer.
Okay.
We just produce this half the year, so kind of like the summer months.
Okay.
Super light, really easy drinking, a little bit dry. We serve it with a lime at the brewery, so kind of just like the style of beer you want for summer drinking.
A good, refreshing summer day beer, which is perfect, and I really like the can design on that one. That one's really cool.
Yeah, a little Day of the Dead inspiration.
Absolutely,
there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's awesome. So this weekend is really a great opportunity to, if you haven't been able to try Moab Brewery before, to not only try your guys' staple beers, obviously your IPA, your Amber Ale, and your Lager are all very famous, but if you haven't been able to try it, you can try some other variations as well. Do you have anything alongside of that summer special that you have?
Absolutely. So we just started producing a new double IPA.
Excellent.
We released that about 3 months ago, and as I'm sure you know, IPAs are the #1 selling style in the craft industry. Over 30% of all craft beer sales now are IPAs, which is crazy.
And it seems, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems, this is kind of just anecdotal, but it seems like the shift is towards like double IPAs now too. So even going beyond the single, just regular traditional IPA and moving on to that double IPA, which is just a little bit more stout, a little bit more tart on your mouth as well. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like everything American, we want it bigger and better.
We got to go double.
But no, we've definitely seen that style, the Imperials, grow a little bit, and it just allows brewers to brew, you know, traditional IPAs, but also have a new twist on it. So this has been our first double that we've done, and it has done exceedingly well for us. It's blown away all expectations that we have.
Very nice.
So it is available in all of the state liquor stores, which is great. And our signature 16-ounce can. So we've been canning. We're the first microbrewery in Utah to put our beer in cans as well. So we've been doing that for over 8 years now. Wow. Which is great. We pretty much only can, other than our specialty lineup called our Desert Select, that are all bottle conditioned, so they have to be in bottles.
They have to be in the bottle.
Yeah.
Well, you guys obviously make some fantastic beers. You guys will have much more coming out there. You guys have a long legacy down in Moab with your guys' restaurant and storefront, but let's talk about kind of a new addition as of last year to that. You guys are stilling now.
Yeah, we are. So we just opened up our distillery in October of this year, which is super exciting.
That is huge, yeah.
Yep, so we bought the building right next door to the brewery. So we put our distillery in there, and we started with vodka because it's kind of the natural progression of how you do it. And then we also just came out with a gin about a month ago.
Very nice.
And right now we're just selling that product down in Moab.
In Moab.
Yep. It will come up to the state stores probably in the next year.
Okay.
But we just kind of wanted to see how thirsty Moab was.
Absolutely.
To see, you know, what would be selling out of the brewery down there.
Well, that's kind of the cool thing about, you know, like the microbrewery kind of concept is it kind of starts organically, right? You're not, the whole goal of it isn't to make this giant statewide beer company. You're really starting it to make really delicious, good craft beer, and that starts kind of usually sometimes in the garage of someone's home or at a small microbrewery, and then it kind of scales up from there. So I'm sure that we'll see the spirit side and the distilling side over from Moab just continue to grow just as the beer has. But I encourage anyone who has time to make the trip down to Moab. It's quick, it's easy. You got all the national parks down there, and then you finish off the day with a nice nice cold one over at Moab Brewing, which
Yeah,
is fantastic.
It's hard not to have a fantastic time when you're in Moab.
Agreed.
And it feels like, everyone always ends up at the brewery at some point in time.
So talking about Park City Sunday Market, do you guys have a specific booth at the Sunday Market, or are you guys just retailing your beer at different vendors? How does that work?
So just at the bottom of Main Street, that's where they have the bar area for Park City. So we are always there. They're always selling at least 4 different of our brands every single weekend there. And like I said, normally you can also have a cocktail, but this weekend it'll just be beer. So they have a great selection of numerous different types of beer.
And definitely not a downside, because even though the cocktails won't be there, it's going to give you the opportunity to try out a ton of different types of beers, which you wouldn't normally be able to try, including, is this new double IPA going to be up there?
It will be.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's excellent.
Yeah, and that'll be up there every single weekend. So
perfect.
If you miss it this weekend, you can get it next weekend.
Sounds great. Scott, where can people keep up to date with everything that's happening down at the brewery, and even some news happening with the new distillery as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We're on Facebook and Instagram, just Moab Brewery.
Excellent.
And then our website, themoabbrewery.com.
Perfect. Scott Davis,
Awesome.
Your head of sales, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And thanks for supporting Park City Sunday Market for all these years and continuing to bring really great, refreshing beer up here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Be sure and check out Moab Brewery over at Park City Sunday Market this Sunday, especially as you can get your hands on some limited kind of edition beers that they have going for the summer as well. Make your way down to their storefront in Moab if you have the time. We're going to continue here on the Mountain Morning Show when we come back from this short break. Don't go anywhere.